So this process right here that we're going to see is the process of submitting your form. And I just want to verify, since I can't see everyone, that you're seeing the chapter pre-register form. And if you just say yes, that'd be awesome.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
perfect. So as we just stated here, we want you to provide us with one person to complete the form. You're going to have their full name, their email, their ASID number, the chapter position, and their term. So the first person that is the point of contact that's going to fill this form, I'm just going to put Minnie Mouse just to make it a little bit easier. And so putting in my last name here, I am going to put in my email. I'm going to select my chapter. I'm just going to go with the Alaska for right now. And then I'm going to start putting in the attendees' names. So the first name that I'm going to put in, we'll go with Daisy. And I don't know why my computer is moving so slow, so I do apologize. And then also we'll put in the last name. We'll continue with the email, starting with the phone number. And we're going to continue to go through all this and then put our membership number in. So make sure you have everyone's number, the chapter position, just be president-elect, the year. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add the value. And this is basically how much I'm expecting to have taken off at the registration. So I am going to say 260. I'm just coming up with a number. And I am putting that the remaining balance would be by the chapter or the attendee. So you have that option for that, depending on what you guys have decided to go with. Either you can select the chapter or the attendee. And then once that is completely done, you would repeat the same situation over and over again to fill out all of those people who are going to be there. So you have to do this each and every time. Once you have completed this,
Nick, may I just ask you a question?
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay.
If we are undecided at this point because of where we are in the chapter from the cash flow standpoint, whether the chapter is going to pay that balance or the attendee is going to pay, we're really not decided. We won't be decided until later on, until we're due to pay it. So how can we add? Oh, we could add another option there, undecided at this point, or
you can select either or. This is just starting the conversation on how the code is going in. So what you're doing right now is getting the information to get everyone to receive their code. This has nothing to do with registering for the conference at the moment. This is the first step of providing the code. So even if you're undecided, if you're going to go chapter or attendee, you can select either or depending on who that person's filling it. And then once you receive the code for me, you can say, here is your code, Michelle, Johnny, and Bobby. You will actually have to pay X on your own card, or the chapter will pay for that. That'll be a discussion that you guys would share on how that remaining balance will be paid. So once you've completed all of the names that you have, you would then at the bottom, there's a lot as we are giving you a whole bunch of options to do. You can hit submit. I like to do like the print just so that I can kind of see something tangible and making sure that I have everyone. You would then email that to events@ASID. So it's at the bottom right here. And then what happens after you email this, I will receive it. I will respond less than 24 hours with your code. If there is a balance for each person, I will let you know, and you'll be able to go forward with registering for the conference.
And Quinn, a question.
Yes.
So when this initial form is submitted to you, then you will send all those codes individually to the people we plan on attending the conference, or would it go back to the
It would go back to the
contact-
person that sent me the form to keep
the
it
contact person?
correct. That way it just stays with that person. And then they will be able to distribute the codes out to everyone.
Or that person could sign up everyone's individually. But
Yes, they could. They could do that too.
it's a lot of money. I bet.
It's much easier. And I will say I've had 3 chapters who've reached out already to complete their forms. And they have completed the form, printed it out on it saved it as a PDF and forwarded to me. And they forward their codes to everyone. Very simple on it, walk them through the process. And no one has said, oh, this is too much for me. It was more of like trying to check the balances regarding that they've met the correct amount, but no one has said it was too much at this point, Kevin. So I feel good for you. I feel like it's going to be okay. Fingers crossed.
No.
And if not, I will walk you through. Want to make sure that that's kind of going through. I also, what I would like to do is kind of like walk you guys through registration, because there has been comments about registering registering groups of people at once. So I really kind of want you guys just to see what that looks like. It might be a little too much for some people to register everyone, and they might want to say, here's your code, and not want to do that. So I kind of just want you to see what that looks like in regards. So I'm going to just share my screen again. So once you select, you'll see here that there is a chapter leaders spot for you guys. And as you see, there's a message. Have you received your discount code from your chapter administrator? That's giving people from your team to know, wait a minute, before we register, kind of putting the brakes to see, okay, let me check to receive that before I start registering for the conference. So then the next thing you will do is click on next. You'll see there's a rate for chapter leaders. That's the $3.99. And if you remember, that was the special rate that was going on all day yesterday. So for those who thought that they had missed it, you actually did not miss that special rate. This rate is for all chapter leaders until June the 8th. So just something to want you guys to be aware of. And then we'll go with next. I am going to put in my own self in here in regards to all of this. So I'm just going to put myself in twice. Again, I'm gonna go with Alabama. I am going to select my chapter leader. You'll see that then I have to go through. This also lets us know as ASID, if those who have registered for the conference who are using a code that is not that was supposed to, this is how we're doing our cross-reference, just to check to verify that those who receive the code are the ones who are using the code. So I just want to make sure that you guys were aware of that. I selected my chapter role. Next, I am just going to go through this very quickly. It's just, selecting a couple of things that are in that process. This is the terms and agreement that I mentioned earlier. So as you see here, this is very important. One of the things that and it's nothing new, that if you've been to a conference, you'll notice that if you go to KBIS or you go to any of those other places, your conference badge is required to wear at the conference. And if for some reason you lose your badge or you need to be reprinted, there's a $50 fee. So that right there is something to note. If someone from your staff, from your team loses their badge, or if you lose your badge and you go to the front desk requesting to be print, there will be a $50 fee. That person at the front desk will stop and say, Janie, you lost your badge. It's a $50 fee. Will we charge the card on file, or do you have another card? So I really want to make sure that part is very clear. It talks about our cancellation policy. There is no cancellation. It lets you know exactly our safety, our COVID information. So if you are registering for your staff, I would really suggest that you print this out so everyone can see this, because you're accepting for them. And I don't want anyone to be surprised about anything. So click on I agree for the terms and condition. And you'll notice here, it says add another group member. So I can add another group member to it, and I will go through that process all over that I just did again. So you have that option, or you can click on next. And then this is here where you're going to put your discount code. So that code that I have provided to you will go right here in this spot. You'll hit apply, and then there will be a balance or no balance, but then the submit, and then it will say for credit card, you'll have to provide the credit card in. So that credit card information will have to go in here. So I just want to go back real quick. When it comes to that group registration, you will click here for add a group member. You will go back and do everything like you just did for the chapter leader, and you're literally repeating all of your stuff over again. So that's one of the things to think about. If you decide to register for everyone, you will I would estimate a good 7 to 10 minutes on this part of registering everyone if you choose to do that as a group. If you want them to do it on their own, it might be a little bit beneficial of your time for them to do it themselves.